deeply rooted, that it's characterized by many shared values, and that ultimately it's going to do quite well for the perceived future.
Okay, stay on with me very quickly. That's important. Let me just quickly go over, before we play up the speech again, because a lot of you might have missed it. At 10 o'clock, we'll play the entire 50-minute or so long speech. 3 or 4 important areas where Prime Minister Modi sought to build at least an ideological and notional bridge and a normative bridge between the two countries. He underlined and stressed the natural alliance between India and United States by underlining mutual commitment to upholding values of democracy, set to rest questions that US lawmakers have had over India's human rights record. There were many for a long time who viewed Prime Minister Modi with skepticism. He stressed on India's commitment, his administration's commitment to the values of inclusivity and tolerance, and listed out examples of people-to-people links and interdependent trade cooperation as basically the bedrock of this relationship. Used humor and wit to appeal to American, certain American lawmakers who have been taking very vituperative positions on immigration, on H-1B visas, on outsourcing, emphasizing that, look, we've had things that have gone between the two countries that have helped influence and change the narrative, and America has gained from Indian human capital, etc., etc. So I think, Mr. Chari, Mr. Karna, closing thoughts from the two of you. How would you rate this speech as far as the breadth of issues is concerned?
Well, look, I think he put across a wide array of issues for the two governments to consider and to proceed on. The point, though, is, I mean, some of these things that he has said, implicit in them are also the problems. For instance, when he talks about a stronger and prosperous India being in America's strategic interest, quote, the problem is precisely that a stronger India would necessarily mean that, say, India resume nuclear testing to have credible thermonuclear weapons to match China. But that's precisely, that runs up against the United States government's non-proliferation ayatollahs out there who ride the herd. Now, then you have the prosperous India bit. He made that thing pitch for India as a manufacturing hub, attracting investment. Now, the trouble there is, without Trump, Obama himself, his own economic policies, talked about resourcing. Resourcing, meaning bring back the companies with incentives, tax incentives, etc. Those companies, American companies that have gone abroad. Now he's drawing them back in to get, to solve his unemployment problem. So this is this is going to be a major hassle as to how you get over the hump.
And he referred to those differing perspectives, as he said, but he then sort of stressed on the shared values and how those will tide over perhaps some of those differences.
Okay. I mean, so he's also talked about these differing perspectives, but these are the differing perspectives that might end up, in some sense, depending on what the next government does in Washington, end up creating some friction.
Okay.
I think the most important stress that he has laid is on the two democracies working together. And when you talk of democracy, the US understands, the American economy is not passing through the kind of trouble that people envisaged. The employment levels are not that low that they have to be worried. Unemployment levels are not that low that they have to be worried. And then a US getting back to a huge manufacturing economy is not on the agenda of either party, the Republicans or the Democrats. But what is important is, of course, a greater economic engagement, which will be a win-win situation for both US and India.
Right.
And I think there the Prime Minister has drawn the attention to two very important facts. One is India and US being natural allies, and also you speak of the freedom of navigation. You also refer to the Indian Ocean region. You also refer to trade. And you also refer to respect of global rules and regulations. When you speak of all these factors, you are obviously chiseling out India, US on one side, and the rest of these superpowers, the so-called aspiring superpowers, although the Chinese never said that they are superpowers.
Okay.
It's a very great reference to China.
China. Okay.
And,
it's interesting.
and mind you, the most important words are terrorism is incubated in India's neighborhood.
That's right. So
Without
US
naming Pakistan even once. And the most important thing is refusing to reward them and holding them accountable.
Well, let's just hope that the message has got through at some level. There will be continuity of that, there should be no doubt, whether it's Trump or Hillary next. We leave it at that. The speech will be repeated in precisely 3 minutes. Stay with us. Don't go away. It was a very remarkably well-put address to the United States Congress. Don't go away.